started. It is May 15th, middle of the month. So we got 2 weeks left to kind of hustle hard and change a lot of lives together, which is a super exciting, last push before Memorial Day weekend. I have a bunch of announcements, so you guys might want your notebooks out to take notes. If you didn't hear the National Wake Up Call today, Carl announced UV2 is going to be launched on Beachbody On Demand tonight, so probably like 3 a.m. our time. For Steph or anybody who's been living under a rock, UV2 is a brand new workout program getting launched. So it is more for beginners or people that have had injuries or maybe had surgery and they're kind of getting back in the swing of things. And there's a family workout that goes along with it for kids. So I think it's a great addition to the Beachbody On Demand library. And if nothing else, have some fun. Get your parents to do it with you. Get your grandparents to do it with you. Just make it fun. Second announcement, when you help 3 people make a change this month, 3 to 5 people, Beachbody is hosting a John C. Maxwell personal development webinar next month for everybody that helps 3 people this month. So he is incredible. One of the biggest personal development gurus. I've read a lot of his books on leadership and things like that. So check him out if you haven't. Also, don't forget about my summit challenge that I threw out there, guys. If you help 3 people this month and next month, you're in the running. If you're going to summit, you are in the running to come to the Success Club party with me, which is going to be fabulous. And if you're not going to summit, you still get a special gift from me because I'm going to go shopping at the core where all the new workout clothes come out. So you get first dibs on that. So hustle hard, guys. Hit your goals. I'm giving you a little incentive here. 2 more announcements. Sorry, actually 3. The day after Memorial Day, we're going to do another 3-day refresh. So team-wide, everybody together. I think it's going to be perfect right after Memorial Day, so we can be talking about that right now and get people on board before they leave for the weekend, and then they can kick it right back up. So there'll be an accountability group starting that day and a 3-day refresh. They can do both. It's totally cool. Any questions so far? No, it's a lot.
I have a question about that, and I can look it up easily. But if someone buys 3-day refresh from us, there's no Success Club points associated, but there's like $30 commission or something, right?
Yeah, I believe it's a $15 commission.
Okay.
But if, say you have an inactive discount coach, that would get them back to active because there's 50 PV with it. So if you think about it that way. Plus, it's just a great way to get new customers in and let them feel an accountability group and then transition them to the second accountability group in June. But that's how I think about it. So
yeah, cool.
Okay, second to last item on the board. This one's an exciting one, guys, and this should fire you up. So I went to Punta Cana a couple weeks ago, and you work for those trips the year prior. So I worked for it in 2016. You go in 2017. We're going to Mexico next year, and you work for it all this year. Most of you are new coaches this year, so you're like, well, I'm already behind. You're not. If you're diamond and below, which is all of you, you can help as many people as possible from now until the end of the year, and Beachbody is giving away free rooms in Mexico. So look it up in the FAQ and hustle your little booties off because I want somebody in Mexico with me and Claire. All right? Let that drive you. Last thing, they announced a new challenge pack today on the National Wake Up Call. It is for people. Say you have somebody sign up with Shakeology or with the All Access and then they cancel their Shakeology. They can actually re-sign up with a Shakeology and Portion Fix Containers challenge pack. It's going to be $130. And so it's just a month of Shakeology with the little containers. This is for people that already have All Access probably for the year and had maybe canceled their Shakeology and are getting back on. So if you have questions about that, it's not coming out till June. So we have a couple weeks to play around with that. But most of you will probably be focusing on All Access challenge packs. Any questions?
Do you know when the 160 price is going up by any chance?
Not till the end of August. But it doesn't mean that you know that in your conversations, right? I treat it month by month. Like, I don't know what's going to happen in June. So now's the time to get on board.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, at least till through the end of August, the all access and Shakeology will be 160, which is a steal. Cool. All right, guys. So I am going to introduce our guest speaker. She's one of my coaches. She's been around the block for about a year now. So for those of you guys that don't know, Tara signed up last June, I think. So it's been almost a year. And she came right in wanting to be a coach. She actually asked me about teaching group fitness. And I was like, well, that's cool, but why don't we talk about coaching? So everything that she kind of wanted, I knew that she would struggle with as a fitness instructor. She wanted to help a lot of people. She wanted to have the freedom of time and travel. And we kind of just connected on a lot of things. And she came in, I'm not going to tell her whole story because I'm sure she'll touch on it, but it just wasn't right timing for her. And so I just wanted a friend in Atlanta. She lives in Atlanta too. And I treated her as my friend. I never pushed the business on her. I was there for her as a friend first. And I hope all of you feel that way. Obviously, I push you, but only out of the goodness of my heart. And she slowly came back. It was the right time about a month or so ago. And she is such a natural at sharing her story, something that all of you, I think, maybe hold back on or are scared to put yourself out there and post consistently. And that's something that she's really good at. Without trying. So I wanted her to, you're good, Justine. I wanted her to get on here and just kind of speak how she builds that know, love, and trust, because people actually message her a lot behind the scenes. Like, I'm always astonished. I'm like, how are you getting these messages? And it's because she's consistently sharing what she's doing from the heart. So she's going to talk about how to build that know, love, trust factor and a little bit about where she is. It's all you, girlfriend.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm glad all of y'all hopped on. I was like, what if nobody comes on today? And I'm like planning it. I do everything in my bathtub, so I'm like sitting in my bathtub trying to write out what I'm going to say. And little known fact, if I answer you, it's probably in my bathtub. But anyways, so I have my notes. These are my bathtub notes of what I wanted to talk about. So like Danielle said, my journey started kind of last year. And I never converted a single message that I started to a Success Club point. So and that was where I struggled with from the very beginning. It was always family. It was always people who came to me, but I never could start a conversation and be able to talk to that person, build a relationship, and then sign them up. And that always bothered me. So I'm kind of giving you the pre-story as to when I signed up originally and how I led to my own demise and why I came back. So that was going on. I was getting a lot of traction on my posts, but I wasn't doing the work behind the scenes so much. And then my personal development was very much of a struggle for me. So I thought, everything had to be done the Beachbody way. And I was trying to read the books and do everything properly, because that's one thing that I'm very math minded. So I'm very much like, there is always a right answer. I just have to find it, instead of, like an English language arts background where it's creativity. And so I'm very much like, I need the process and I will do the process. But good to know I'm not alone, Justine. So that was a big struggle for me. And then a lot of you don't know, and I haven't shared about this publicly, and I do plan on it, but I have a disease in my feet called Charcot-Marie tooth, and there's like 200,000 cases in the U.S., and that's it. And it's hereditary, and there's no cure. So basically, it's a motor and sensory nerve neuropathy disease. And look up, I can type in here how to spell it, but I have a very, very mild case of it. So my dad has it, all my uncles have it, my aunt has it. My brother had surgery on his feet and has pins in every single one of his toes, keeping them straight from when he was 10 years old. My dad's ankles are fused together to keep them from rolling. So it's very scary, and there's no way to cure it. But I have an extreme mild case. But I had been doing a lot of jumping. I've been doing a lot of very heavy impact things because my background's in soccer, and so that's what I was used to. And my foot just gave out, and I like shut down. I was like, oh no, like here it comes, what I've dreaded my whole life because I've known my family had this in them. I was like, it's here, and I'm never going to be able to work out again. And so I just went, since my personal development wasn't working, I just went down this black tunnel. And then that black tunnel that I had created for myself started reflecting in my relationships. It started reflecting in every aspect of my life. And I just kind of became a hermit through the whole fall and winter and put on almost like close to 20 pounds in the meantime. And I'd always looked at myself as this person who knew a lot about fitness and was always fit and didn't have to work super hard to be fit. So for me, that was just another layer on the cake. And so finally, I work for a trade show company, and we have an event in Vegas every March. And I was starting to think, what am I going to wear? I have these parties I have to go to, and none of my clothes fit good anymore. Like I could zip them, but it was nothing that I wanted to be seen in. And I was like, what have I done to myself? Like, how did I get to this point? And I just sat down one day and I was like, where did I come from? And I traced it back to my foot, and I traced it back to going into this hole and me saying, how do I bring myself out of it? And I bring myself out of it by sharing that with other people so that they know there's somebody out there who can feel what they feel and has done what they've done and can help them through the struggles. So I guess, where am I at? I guess I reached out. I started posting. I started pulling myself out of that on my own before I reached back out to Danielle to say, like, I was interested in coming back, because I knew that I had to work on me first. And a big thing for me the first time around was I would look at everyone else's posts and be like, well, what should I talk about? Or how do I say this? And so it turned into somebody else and not Tara. And it never was, it wasn't ever like, wow, that doesn't sound like her, but it wasn't from the heart. And I think when you don't type something that you're truly passionate about, even if it's not speaking, it's typing, people know. So that was the first thing I learned. And then I sat down and I told myself, I'm like, you know what? Okay, Tara, if you're going to do this, here's the things, and I wrote these down. Here's the things that you're a line in the sand that you're not going to do this time, or that you are going to do. And my things were, I'm doing it my way. And I'm not doing it anyone else's way. I'm not saying anything that anyone wants me to say. I'm doing it my way. I'm still going to the gym with Will, because for me and my boyfriend share that time together. We always go to the gym before work. And that's like our way of getting our mind right, spending time together before the craziness happens of the day, before I get stressed out and I'm pissed off. And so that was my time. And I took that from him last time. I said, you know what, I'm doing these home workouts. I'm changing my routine. And I didn't consult him. And that wasn't fair. So I said, you know what, I'm going to the gym with Will, and I'm not changing that. Third, I'm still going to eat foods he likes. So I'm still going to cook the same recipes. Yes, Jessica. So I'm still going to cook the same recipes. Whereas before I'd had my Fixate book, and I'm like, I'm going to cook 21-day fix recipes, and I'm going to have this. And he'd be like, I just want spaghetti. And so I'm like, well, I can't have spaghetti, so you're not having spaghetti. So I realized, I'm like, you know what? I could just save my carbs up for the day and have spaghetti with him at night. So it's just focusing on a lot of give and take for me. And I said, number 4, I'm not going to be in it for the money. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to change lives. And I'm here to go back to my why and say, you wanted to help people. And so when you come from a place of help, it has to be genuine and it has to be honest, and you can't do it any other way. And I'm not going to rely on my family. That was my last one. Because before I had signed up, I think my mom, which she was an actual challenger, she's lost 40 pounds, but yeah, she looks great. So I signed up my mom, I signed up my boyfriend, I signed up my boyfriend's dad, I signed up my grandfather. Like, the family was in this, but it gave me a backbone, and it gave me like a crutch to stand on without having that for myself. So I couldn't just stand firm and say, you know, like, I've helped these people and my team has helped these people. And I just didn't feel good about it. I didn't feel good about hitting Emerald. I didn't feel good about any of the accolades, I guess, because I knew I didn't work for it. Good, Jessica. So I sat down on my patio tonight, and I was like, what am I going to talk about? And this story came back to me that I went to Will, I guess this was like in March, and I said, I want to plant some flowers. And he was like, oh God, you kill everything. I was like, no, hear me out. Last time I went on vacation and the other person didn't water them, and who I lived with at the time, and he's like, let's be honest here, they were like almost dead by the time you went on vacation. So I was like, okay, well, I just want like this garden. He said, how about we start with 3 plants? He said, I want you to pick out 3 plants you like. Figure out where you're going to put them. Are you going to put them in the shade? Are you going to put them in the sun? Let's figure out which 3 plants they're going to be. And he said, you take care of those 3 plants. He said, you water the plants daily. You look after them. You make sure you move them to the sun if they need sun. You give them space and shade if they need shade. But you look after those 3 plants. And once you consistently take care of them, then we'll talk. I was like, you know what? That's fair. And so that brought me full circle to my whole Beachbody coaching of like, just help 3 people. Just help them and water them and pour into them. And if they need their space, tell them you're there for them. But if they're, you know, shining in the sun, bring them to life. And so the other kind of crazy correlation I took from that was within coaching in general was we do this comparison game so often of, which I was guilty of looking at other coaches, and I said, you know what, if I'm a flower and I have, you know, my 3 flowers standing in my corner, the one that bloomed first might be the most beautiful to one person, but the other one that just has leaves might be equally as appealing. And the flower pot that just has the leaves in it doesn't sit there and say, well, those orange flowers are really pretty and they look really good, so I'm just not going to bloom anymore. Like, that doesn't happen. So I don't know why and I'm guilty, but I don't know why we look at another coach and we say, you know what, they're so pretty, they have it all going on. I can never be like them, so I'm just not going to spread my wings or my flowers and show my truth and my honesty so people can see how beautiful my spirit is, because there's already a beautiful flower over here. When they're completely different colors. They're completely different flowers. So a flower that's purple might appeal to Danielle, and a flower that's blue is going to appeal to me. And yeah, I'm not. I can just talk. So I just feel like that was my aha moment when it came to judging and looking at things and saying, you know what, I'm going to be my own beautiful, and it's okay if someone else doesn't find that beautiful. That's probably not the person I want along with me. It's probably not the person who's going to buy into that flower, and that's okay. So yeah, that's that part. Moving along. I have a really short brain span. I have lists all over the house. So what's next? So my views on posting, my first one was to keep the flowers alive, to keep posting. So if I stop watering my flowers, they're not going to immediately die, but within 12 hours, you're going to start seeing them wilt maybe a little. By the next day, they're going to shrivel up. It may have lost a few leaves. It might have, the soil might be drying up, but they're not dead. And I can come back, and I've done this too many times to count already. I can come back and pour some more water on it, and within a few days, they come back to life again. But I just think that's the exact way our business is in posting, is that, you know, we consistently post. The flowers keep looking beautiful just by telling your natural story. But if you stop for a few days, then you start to kind of go back into your shell. And for me, like, I had a really crappy end of the week last week, and I took a day and a half of not posting, and I felt myself reverting to that person that I was last year. And I said, you know what? The only way that I can make this good again is to pour into everybody else. And my way of pouring into everyone else is showing up to post on social, because there's somebody who needs to hear something that I have to say who's not going to hear it if I don't say it. And that made me in turn feel better, just to love it out to other people. So that's how I kind of think of my posting is my flowers are going to die. And all these seeds I've planted and all this time I've spent building these relationships and trying to keep them alive and breathing life into them is going to revert back, and I'm going to have to start all over. So that's my first view on how I think about posting. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. And then my other thing is, when I think about posting, I think about what I would want to see, or my first thoughts in my head are, would I care? It's kind of blunt, but do I care? Would I laugh? Because I like funny people. And does it add any value to my life? Do I actually take anything away? Do I relate with them on a personal level? Do I find them funny? What is it about this that I would relate to? And if it's no, then I don't post it. And sometimes it takes me having to actually physically write it. I can get behind a computer and I get like screen lock and I don't know what to say. So I'll get my notepad out and I'll just start writing. And then most of the time, those are my best posts, when I just close the screen, pull out the notepad and say, what do I want to say? Because I feel like it just flows more natural, and then it feels more real. Because I don't know if any of you are big, The Secret, if you've watched or read that, but I feel like I've then put it out into the universe 2 times, because I've written it down and now I've put it public, and then I've spoken it out loud when I read it back to myself. So that's 3 times that I've put the same message into the universe within 10 minutes. So that's my way of trying to get out what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking in my head without sitting behind the screen and getting locked. And then the other thing is, I like to do, all my live videos are personal development, because I think that is something that anyone can go on Pinterest and look up a recipe. And this is just me, I'm not saying to do this, but anyone can go on Pinterest and look up a recipe. They can, find cute workout clothes. They can do any of those things, but what a lot of people aren't doing is investing in themselves, and they aren't bettering their mental state. They just want someone to bitch to. Sorry. But they do. So I try and do my videos on personal development, but personal development that I'm passionate about, because then I can just look at the screen and talk and forget where I am and who I'm talking to, and it just comes out kind of naturally, because I'm actually passionate about it. And I think that's the big thing, is that if you try and talk about something just for the sake of talking about it, it becomes forced, and people start to pick up on the fact that you're just trying to do a live video to do a live video. And I think that's when it becomes salesy without even trying, because people our age know the power of social, and they know that they're notified when someone does a live video. And so I think it comes across very much as, oh, here she is again. But if you're giving something every time and it's something that you really, truly care about, nobody can fault you for that. And if they do, they suck. So, because you can't fault someone for talking about what they're passionate about. So my big thing is live videos. And then always I found that my first message to somebody, whether they've liked my post or my video, is always, thank you for liking that, or thank you for sharing, or thank you for the love on my video or my post. Speaking about this publicly has been really scary, because I'm putting myself out there to be judged, and I never know what the reaction is going to be, so I appreciate it and then enter a question about them. So what I found is that almost every single time I've sent that message, they respond. Every single time. And I believe it's because I'm telling them that I'm not perfect, and that I have doubts and I have I hate the word fears. But I'm letting them know that like I'm on the same level as you, and I'm no better, and I'm no farther along, and I still feel the same way that you feel. And it makes that trust already there because they feel like you're someone they can relate to. So that's my big thing, is saying thank you, I appreciate you, and relating to them on that level. And then, that leads to my third point. Showing your flaws. I think we get so wrapped up in having the prettiest picture and having the best sunlight and the most pretty clothes and all of that, and we forget that people just want to see normal people. They want to see themselves in you, and they don't want to see this pretty graphic picture that you put together. They just want to know that you are just like them. And for me, that's one place I struggled with last time, because I'm trying to put graphics on there. And I told you I suck at creativity. Like, I texted Danielle and I was like, I can't figure out how to put these 3 pictures side by side. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't get the words across. I just want to cover my stomach for my results and put it up later. And I spent 30 minutes, I'm not joking, 30 minutes to put one blue bar across 3 pictures that said results coming in 30 days. And I struggled with that so much last time. I spent so much time on it that I was like, I'm not doing that this time, because I know that's something that I'm not good at. I'm not good at it, and I'm never going to be good at it. So I don't play that up, because otherwise people are going to come to my page and say, what the heck is she doing? So I just put up real pictures that look like anyone else. Like this morning when I thought I forgot a lunch, I literally was running out the door. I'm like, oh, I should take a picture of this. But I have no makeup on. And I think the vulnerability in the post of saying I was running late as usual, like, hello, I don't have it all together. And I think that's what people appreciate, is hearing, you know what, I really suck at X, Y, and Z. And so you're not alone. I think that builds trust when you publicly announce what you're bad at, personally. And then the last thing is really nailing those objections. I try and twist them to be something that's relatable, not just, I don't know. I just try to make them more generic than they actually are. So, like, if you're hearing cost objections, it's, why do people feel the need to buy a $40 makeup palette and make themselves look beautiful, and yet they feel crummy on the inside? You know, it's a way of addressing the objection, but being generic enough to where everyone can relate to it. And I try to be sassy about it and be like, sorry, because I know that people will get a little laugh out of it. They'll be like, oh, she's quirky, she's a little weird, but that's fine. Because then it puts their guard back down again, and they're like, oh, you go, girl, you preach. So I think it just brings their level and their guard back down, and they're not surprised when you reach out to them at that point, because you've already said what you're looking for, and you've already put yourself out there to be so vulnerable. They're like, oh, this girl. But I think that's all I have about posting. I feel like I just talked for a long time.
That was awesome. I think there were so many golden nuggets in there that you took and spoke your way. Do you guys have any questions or something that spoke to you? I know I have a few things, but I want to let you guys go first.
Bring them on.
And if anyone's on the phone, I'm unmuting you so you can speak as well. Anybody? All right, well, I'll go, and you guys can always type in the chat. So I wanted to ask you, do you ask Will for his opinion on any of your posts, Tara? Will's her boyfriend.
I do. That's a good question. He is really good about telling me, like, the last 2 posts you've put are pretty lengthy in paragraph. I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I should probably do something that's short and sweet and to the point. So I got to the point of where I kind of look back at my last 5 posts, and I'll say, what's the last 5 posts? Because most people, if they're going to come to your page, they might scroll through the last 5 and then they're off. So you've lost them at that point, unless you're really killing it and they're like, oh, I just want to be this girl's best friend. They might keep scrolling forever. But most people are going to be off after 5, and they're not going to your photo tabs. They're actually going to your feed for the most part and looking to see what you're saying. So he brought that to my attention. Sorry, he's pouring cereal. He brought that to my attention. And so since then I've been like, you know what, I've did a really deep post. I did a really sassy post. I probably just need to say something that's to the point to get people to realize I don't need to have some deep conversation every single time. This can just be something simple, like here's a quote I saw on Pinterest, but now I'm taking a picture of myself and putting the quote in the text. And I don't have to think about what it is, but people want to see you. They're not relating with the fake girl in the picture on the quote. They are relating with you, and they're on your page for you. So he's really good about telling me, you probably need to tone it down a little bit, Tara. Usually.
Well, and self-evaluation is so key, whether it's your spouse or somebody on this team that is checking your page weekly. Noelle and I do that all the time. I will ask her, hey, what are my posts like this week? Like, what do I need more of? Because we get so sucked into ourselves, we don't see it from the outside. So I wanted to make sure that she shared that, because I think it's a good way to also involve your spouse and have them look at what you're doing if they're okay with that, without them having to do workouts or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about, I think as new coaches, or maybe we get in a rut sometimes where we want to just, maybe we don't post for a while and then we're like, oh, I'm just going to throw up an invite. Oh, this next post is going to be an invite. Oh, it's going to be a call to action. Can you talk about that jab, 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 right hook, and how you kind of incorporate that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that if you're kind of dormant for a while, and then I'm all in my plant references. If you're dormant for a while and you all of a sudden come back and you just say, come join me, I don't think that anyone trusts you, number one. Number two, in their head, they're saying, okay, well, what happens when I sign up and that happens again and she leaves again and then I'm left without a coach? Or number three, I think you're saying, you know, the way I approach it is, here's a recipe. I know what my market, I think, wants to see. They want to see a pretty outfit. They want to see an easy recipe that can be done within 20 minutes or less. And that's not normal or not stereotypical. So like everyone knows how to make a turkey burger. I mean, I hate to say it, but we all know how to make a turkey burger. There might be different forms of turkey burgers, but we know how to make one. Or we know how to make a stuffed bell pepper. So if you give them a new stuffed bell pepper recipe that they haven't tried, then that's giving value to them in that sense. So I try and say, here's the recipe, here's a workout, here's my outfit, here's my mental, here's an invite. So you're getting them to see that this is about eating clean, about investing in yourself and getting your mind right, about working out, and now I'm going to invite you to do this with me. So I think that's kind of the breadcrumb thing that Danielle talks about, is showing little snippets of exactly what you do and then your life also, because a big part of as we grow is people are going to want the life that you have and the friends that you have. And I think that's a big part that I'm really bad about sharing, because whenever I see friends, I get so wrapped up in seeing them. And I'm like, I didn't take a picture. And Danielle, like at my birthday dinner, she was like, Tara, we haven't taken a picture. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. So I'm really bad about that. But I think that you just have to show each facet or each side of this business and what you do. And then when the invite comes, no one's surprised that you have a group that is full of awesome women, that's nutrition-based, workout-based, and gets your mind healthy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so you're earning your paycheck by give, and then ask for something. But if you ask, you're asking too much, right? You have to like give. It's like almost like you're giving too much out for free, and then you can ask for it. Is kind of how you approach it. So I think what she said was perfect.
Yeah, my go-to quote is breathe it all in, love it all out. So just soak everything in that you can soak in and then give it away. And I think that's the only way that we ever fulfill ourselves is by giving. So I would say just soak in everything you can and then publicly give it.
Liz said, what's your favorite personal development?
Right now what's his name? Yo, I have sticky notes everywhere. What's his name?
What book is it?
It's not a book.
Oh.
So for me, I tried to read the first time around and it didn't work because I don't have focus like that. I'm kind of ADD unless I'm in the bathtub. So my friends got me like a bath caddy for a workstation for my birthday. So I put my headphones in at work because I have an office with a door that shuts, which I'm very happy and I'm very proud of my office with a door, sadly. So I put my headphones in and usually I'll find a topic that I want to learn about and I'll put it into YouTube and put like it'll give you, how a lot of times it'll give you like a playlist on the side and I'll just let it run and I'll literally listen all day until I'm forced to take my headphones out, or I'll listen for 2 hours and then take them out. But there's one guy, and I can't remember his name right now, that I've been actually looking up his name instead of a topic. But I'll have to get back to you. No, he's like a Chris Downing type of a guy.
I don't know.
But that's my go-to is putting in a topic that I'm feeling down on myself, or I'm feeling this, and I'll put in that plus motivation and just listen. Or I'll say like I'm heavily faith-based, I'll say like faith and exercise, and I'll listen to that. And so I'll try and come up with a new topic every day to plug in. And then once you do that enough in YouTube, you start getting you might like this. And so I'll just click it and let it run all day. For me, that's what works best. I know that's not conventional, but
that's something else that she didn't really mention. Hopefully you guys can't hear the train. Tara is very faith-based and she's not bashful about sharing that. And I think that's something that's so great that is uniquely her. Not saying that you guys have to share your religious views by any means, but those little nicks and knacks make you unique, and she gets a lot of her personal development ideas or post ideas from the sermons that she listens to. So I wanted to add that in. I thought that was a great one.
Yeah, my church, if you don't go, they have a podcast where they put all their sermons on. So I'll listen to those as well, which is pretty nice.
2 other things I wrote down. So like, how do you look at like a workout post when somebody just says, got size in, got my workout done?
Like, what do I think when I see that?
Yeah.
I can be brutally honest in here, right?
Yeah.
I think like, who cares? Like, did you want your gold star on your kindergarten name? Like, you went back to the green strip. Congratulations, because it just doesn't, nobody knows what size is. So they don't know even if it was a hard workout or an easy workout. So they don't even know what that is. So there's that component. And then your second component is just like, it just comes off as like, look at me. Hey, here I am. I'm supposed to post today. So here's my post, where I think is you show a move from size and say size is really kicking my butt because it's pushing me to do X, Y, and Z, which I never thought I could do before. And now I feel like I can. That's a completely different post, although same topic, although same program. That's a different post than just saying I got my gold star for today. So I think if you can add value, because there's probably someone out there who says, you know what, I've never been able to do a jumping jack. I could move my legs, but I'm not coordinated enough to move my arms and my legs at the same time. And so you sharing something as simple as, I could never do a jumping jack, and size has got me the coordination and the ability to get off my feet, and I've lost weight so that I can actually jump, is huge for some people. And if that is what you've been through, then there's someone else who wants to go through that, and there's someone else who needs to hear that message. And I think that we get so focused on how many pounds and how many inches that we celebrate the non-scale victories within ourselves, that we forget that other people are the same, and they just might want to walk up a flight of stairs without feeling out of breath. And it can be something so simple as, I mean, I did this today and I'm probably going to post about it, but I decided that I work in a 6-story office building, that I was going to walk. I work on the 4th floor. So I took the stairs and used the bathroom on the 5th floor all day today. And that's something that's so relatable, where I can say, you know what, I'm going to wear Will's Fitbit tomorrow and see how many extra steps I get in just by walking up the stairs to use the bathroom. And if you're drinking 10 glasses of water a day, you have to go to the bathroom a lot. So that's a lot of extra steps just by going up or down a flight to go to the bathroom. And something that simple could be what helps start somebody on their weight loss journey, because they're thinking, okay, well, I can do that. And then they'll get comfortable walking up steps. And then it might not be this thing that you see now, but you're one post that could start someone walking more. And they remember that came from you. They remember, oh, Tara shared that she walked up an extra flight of steps, because they acted on it and you got them moving. And 3 months down the road, when they've lost 10 pounds walking and that's not working anymore, and they still see you and they're like, oh, well, she helped me the last time. Let me see what else she's doing. And then eventually it leads to, okay, now I feel comfortable enough to do UV2 or size. And I think that that's another natural way you build relationships.
So I don't know if you guys have noticed the common thread that she's kind of said over and over again in different ways. When you speak in your posts, you can do a lot of this. I used to feel X, Y, and Z. Then I found this out. I tried it, and this is where I am now. So really relating back to that girl you were before this is important and relatable. Because nobody cares about perfection. I mean, I have to check myself on it a lot. But a way that you can bridge that gap with being really real and honest and people can see right through you is, number one, doing videos of your workouts, not editing them. I talked about that today on my post, actually. I was like, I could sit here and show you all of the perfect edits, but I'm going to show you when I stop. I'm going to show you when I pause and almost fall on the floor. I'm going to show you when I feel like shit and I can't keep going, because that's relatable. I can't do the full 35 minutes of shift shop yet. It's only day 1. But those are the things that people need to see. And then going live, I know it's so scary, but guess what? Fear is false evidence appearing real. You make it up. And I've said it a million times. Just get on and speak from your heart 2 to 3 times a week. And I guarantee you people will watch them. Liz has been doing it. She's been implementing it. Tara has been doing it. There's a reason that they help people each month. They're still working. But I promise you it's going to reach way more people if you can just get over yourself, because it's not about you, what we do. What we do is very selfless. It's really just getting on and sharing for that one person who needs to hear you today.
Yeah, and to be honest, I have struggled through PIO because it's not my thing. I'm used to lifting heavy weights. I'm used to all of that type of things and not yoga. Will bought me, I think, 5 classes, not Christmas 2016, Christmas 2015, to core power yoga, and I've used 3 of them because I hate yoga. But I know that my body needs it, so that's why I chose this program, because I was like, you know what, it's going to push me outside my comfort zone. It'll give me something different to post about that I'm not used to, and my body is tired of getting beat. So I'm going to do it. And I don't have great physical results, but I can do a tricep push-up now. And I'm pretty pumped about it because I have no upper body strength because I'm used to playing soccer. I have a lot of lower body strength. So one of my posts this week will be about how pumped I am that I can do a tricep push-up thanks to PIO. And that's something so simple to some people, but some people dream of being able to do push-ups off their knees. So that's one way I'm going to share my workout and what it's done for me and how it made me feel accomplished when I don't like the program.
Was this helpful, guys? Do you see how like it's just the simple things in your life that you think are so boring that are actually the things you need to be sharing? I think so often we're like, well, I just do the same thing every day. Yeah, but there's something in your day that's funny, or you stepped in dog shit, or, you know, whatever. Those things, share them, because it's so relatable and it'll get people engaged and connected with you and to be your friend. I mean, that's why all of you are here. I wanted to be your friend. And you just so happen wanted to find friends too. And that's what we want to grow this team with. So all you got to do is post on social media to find them. I mean, it sounds kind of silly when you say it out loud. And do it consistently, right? Like Tara said, think of the flowers. Any closing thoughts or questions? It's a big next 2 weeks, guys. Everybody on this call can change 3 lives. There is no reason you can't. The new time. Awesome, Liz. Well, you guys have now plenty of time to go start some conversations, get your post up for the night, and let's go rock these last 2 weeks out. All right, guys? Thank you, Tara.
Thank y'all.
See you guys.